Good evening and welcome to Zoom in on a fresh conversation after dark. This is a special night for us. We have our guest here who is my friend, and we've been friends for so many years. I don't even want to talk about it, but her name is Angie B, and she is the producer, director, founder of the beautiful and bald beauty Bazaar. And we kind of came to this together 7 years ago. How long has it been, Angie?
Yeah, because
Seven
this will
years
be our
ago?
seventh event, and you took 9 good
Yeah.
months to teach me how
Oh,
to do it. So,
my.
yeah.
And so it has grown to proportions that we never thought it would be. And thank you, Angie, for being here. And we have one other, a lovely woman who's going to join us tonight. And with our first guest, oh, who am I? I'm Donna Graybanks. You know who I am. uh, Zoom in on a fresh conversation. But our first guest is Camille, and Camille is at work, so we're gonna try to get her in. Uh, listen, I'm retired. What can I say, Camille? We will bless you as you go through your day.
I appreciate you. Thank
We
you.
have been there and done that. If you have any questions for Camille, please leave them in the chat room. We can address them after the show is over. And Camille, just give us a brief background about who you are. And Angie B, we'll come back to you when Camille's conversation is over.
No problem.
Just a little background of me. First of all, hello. I am Camille. Background of myself, actually, I am a single mom of three grown, beautiful daughters with two great grandchildren of mine. I actually am from I was raised in Tennessee, but I'm actually in Mississippi presently. I have begun a foundation called Camille's Divine Unity, which is a foundation just to unify all walks of life of people losing hair, who've gone bald, and who either don't realize what's going on with themselves, they're embarrassed, depressed, what have you. It's just to be a support to those because I had it, but I didn't really have it with people who were going through the same journey as I was. So they understood I'm not a doctor, I am not a counselor, just somebody
Right?
who's going through this journey.
Three beautiful grown women. Now, listen,
Yes.
you need a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well, I always, and I mess with them a lot because I tell them, I say, it's because y'all have no hair. So.
But listen, we raised queens, and thank you so much for being one of those people who took the time to raise beautiful Black queens, and you have Black little babies that they brought into this world, and so we call that a legacy. And so
Yes,
thank you so
yes.
much for that. So let's talk about, before you go, I want to get into your own event that you started there in you're not in your hometown of Mississippi, but Tennessee, right? And
Yes,
so
yes.
tell us about that event that's going to happen over the Labor Day weekend. Which weekend is it?
It's actually going to be the very last weekend of September.
Okay, that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the 30th of September, 2023.
Yes.
Tell us all about that.
Well, that event, as I was saying, it went from a 1-day event to a 2-day, to a 4-day event. But what it basically is on the 28th of September, we're doing a neo song, and half the proceeds of that is going actually to the National Alopecia Areata Foundation. That is, we do open mic poetry, open mic musician. I have two DJs that bounce off each other, play neo song. That's on a Thursday, September 28th. September 29th, we're doing bowling for alopecia. That's another fun event that we came up with as well. And then Saturday is the actual alopecia awareness walk / picnic. And since it is the very first that has been made in history for Memphis, we added a picnic to celebrate it being the very first one. And with prayer and with God's will, with many more to come. The goal is to put alopecia on the map the way that they do, the way breast cancer is. Because alopecia is not really discussed. And so many people, I don't call it suffer, go through the journey of alopecia. And so that's the biggest goal. And then on Sunday, that particular Sunday, for those who are still in town and wants to be with us, we are doing a Sunday brunch. It's called a Mimosa Sunday brunch for that day from 1 until 5 o'clock that day. And at that point, everybody, we hug, love on each other, and then everybody goes home. That is the actual event for the very last weekend to actually close out Alopecia Awareness Month.
And you did take the next week off, right? Because
I wish I could say that.
Man, it takes at least 3 days to recuperate from that kind of event.
No, ma'am. Matter of fact, I got to go to work the next day.
Oh.
Wow.
Well,
and I work at the hospital here.
You're playing that a little better because you're going to need a day off after that, right? So really quickly, tell us about this special guest that's going to be at the Bazaar this year on the 16th of September.
The Bazaar this year is actually my wonderful fiance, Brownstone. He is a DJ. He was one of our local DJs. Now he's become a well-known DJ, and he does a lot of traveling. We do a lot of traveling. We've been to Houston, Florida, different parts of Florida. We got to go. Matter of fact, he's also going to DJ the fashion show in Houston.
Oh, nice.
So, yes, ma'am, he will be DJing that as well. So that he does a very good job, of course, with the help and assistance of myself. So, so outside that, we have a company together called DB Entertainment. And with DB Entertainment, that's what he does. I have not just one, but I have 2 DJs, and he is the main one. So he is actually the entertainment for that particular, for the Bazaar.
We will welcome him with open arms, and with a name like Brownstone, like everybody remembers the Brownstone. This is the new Brownstone.
Yes.
It is wonderful that he is coming with you. Thank you so much for that. I just want to take a moment to say that coming here on any platform to talk about something that most people don't understand and never discuss. Yes. I thank you for letting me be the person that discusses that with you. Thank you so much. So when did you find out you had an autoimmune disease? When did that happen?
I actually originally I found out in 2018. But I didn't accept it until 2020. My thing was no, that can't be happening to me. I mean, because I've always had a head full of hair, always. And so it was just for me to just sit there and see that I'm losing my hair. I came up with every excuse possible. I've tried to do things to get it to grow back, and it just was not happening. So, and I finally, it just got to the point in 2020, I finally said, okay, I stood in the mirror and I looked, and Brownstone looked at me and said, "You ready?" And I said, "Am I ready?" He said, "Yeah, you ready?"
Wow.
But even with that, I didn't do it then. I really didn't do it until 2021. After that year, he finally said it again on September 3rd, 2021, which I wasn't even aware that September was Alopecia Awareness Month. He saw me looking in the mirror and he said, "Okay, we're going to try it again. Are you ready?" And I said, "I'm ready now." And when he shaved the very first time my head was shaved, he did it. And I cried and cried, and he stopped and looked at me. He said, "You're beautiful. Why are you crying? You're beautiful." So that's why I say I've gone through the depression. I've gone through the crying. I've gone through all of that. And then he said, "Well, let's go. We finna go to dinner." I said, "We finna go out there?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, let me get my wig." He said, "If you put a wig on your head, I'm going to snatch it off at the door." I said, "That's so mean." That's so mean.
But wait a minute. You made me go all through that, get it all nice and shiny, smooth out, and then you're going to throw a wig on, right? Yeah, I guess I understand.
Right.
Yes, that, right? Yeah.
It was. That was exactly it. That was that was September 3rd, 2021. That I turned around, and it took me a year after that to really embrace it.
Really?
So, Yes, ma'am. It took me a whole
You are
year
so
after that.
beautiful that I can't imagine that
Thank you.
that it would take
Thank
that long.
you.
And what most people don't understand is that, and for those of you who aren't really aware of alopecia, the hair follicle is pulls on the scalp, right? So if you have long hair, your scalp takes a certain dimension. When your hair is all gone, it automatically forms into this beautiful shape that complements your body. Don't be afraid of it. And I say here, India Irie saved a lot of people in 2006 because she accepted the fact that she had a problem with her hair.
Yes.
And I am not, my hair became a anthem for a whole lot of people, right? So now brownstone is 1 in a million, right? How did
Yes.
it affect other relationships? Hey, Mama Tony.
The other relationships it actually happened out better than I expected. Well, first we had to get over the fact that people kept thinking I had cancer.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. And so I had to explain I didn't have cancer. But my biggest before I really, really got it out there in the public, when he shaved my head, I took a picture of myself. I'm an only child. So I sent it to my mom and my godmother. And then I sent the picture to my daughters. My mom, I almost thought that I shouldn't have done it because my mom called me crying. And I was like, see, I knew I shouldn't have done it. She said, no, ma'am, you're beautiful. That's why I'm crying, because I know that took a lot in you to do that. So her and my godmother, and they were sitting at a restaurant, in the middle of a restaurant, both of them sitting there crying, looking at the picture. And then my biggest critics, because my children would tell me anything. They're like, Mama, you're not going with me looking like that. No, 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 no. So I know they'll tell me in a hot second. And my oldest daughter always said, Mom, I'm gonna need you to get your life together. No, we're not doing that. So when I sent it to them, I was real nervous about sending it to them, but they embraced it so much that it made me cry, because those were the most important people in my life. So they did, and they did embrace that I became bald, and and now we're noticing my oldest daughter now, she has alopecia.
Did you have that conversation with them that it may be hereditary beforehand?
Yes, ma'am. I had to.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it came more so hereditary from my dad's side.
Right.
Because a lot of them were bald. My mom's side, if they have alopecia, you can't tell. They have all this pretty beautiful head full of hair, but my dad's side is something else. I had to try to explain to them too, that sometimes your body will, the body sometimes thinks that it thought that I had a foreign, like I call it an object in my head. And so it was fighting. And it fought the follicles. My body kept saying, you're not supposed to be here. You ain't supposed to be here. So my hair, so I had to explain that to them, that will occur, that has occurred. And that was the reason why I have hair in the back, but all my hair was missing up top. So we just said, no, we're going to go completely bald with it. And my kids they all gave me hugs. My grandson kept saying, you look like me, Nana. So, and he said, can I kiss your head? And he did. He gave me a kiss on the head. And so that right there sealed the deal for me. It sealed the deal for me. My biggest thing that I felt like I needed to get over was when I came back to work bald. Because I work in a hospital and I've been here for 11 years. So when I came back, they embraced it so that it shocked me so that I went in the bathroom and cried, because it was it was a different thing that I expected. So, and I had to finally say, okay, girl, you need to look inside you and embrace you the way everybody's embracing yourself.
Here's the thing. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yes.
You really think that it's going to make a real difference. And when the person walks by you and says, hey, what's going on? You're like, don't they see that I'm bald? Yeah, yeah. What's going on? Right. And so that really surprised you.
Oh, I went through that.
Yeah.
I went through that. I have to give out this one little story when we first went to the restaurant that night that he got me bald. I kept feeling out of place because people kept looking. People just constantly kept looking over. And if they thought that I saw them look, you know, how people hurt but turn away and look away from you, well, finally, a lady got up and she said, "Look," she said, "Ma'am, I know you'll wonder why we all in here looking." She said, "Because I see they people doing the same thing I'm doing." She said, "But I got to tell you this." She said, "You rocking that ball." She said, "You are beautiful." And I cried and gave her a hug, not realizing that's a woman I had not seen in 20 some odd years. We reunited after 20 some odd years. She was a very good friend of mine.
Wow.
And I did not. And she said, "Oh my God." So we were sitting there hugging and crying. And people, he was like, and he said, "Look, she gonna cry anyway. She been crying since I done cut all her hair off." And I told him, I said, "You just get on my nerve." So yeah, it's I go through that. I mean, patients here at the hospital, even now today, they'll come past and they'll look at me and then they'll make a stop if they see me and say, "I gotta tell you, your head is, oh my God, you are beautiful with your hair that way." And it makes me feel, like I said, I used to have very low self-esteem and my confidence was very low.
Mm.
Oh, it now to the point it has shot through the roof. And then to know that people embrace it. So you couldn't even put a wig on my head if you tried now.
Well, did you find yourself changing your wardrobe to all the vibrancy that maybe you didn't do before?
Yes.
Did you
Yes.
do that?
Yes,
For sure.
ma'am. I did.
For
I
sure.
did. I really did. Yes. I
Wearing
really
colors
did.
that you may not have worn before.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, matter
Isn't
of
that
fact, my
amazing?
wardrobe used to be like dark gray, black, stuff like that. Now it's different colors. It's springy colors, summer colors, and even to the point my kids go, "Mom, this when you start wearing that?" And then they'll sit there or they'll say, "Oh, you just done got fast."
Because you wear
So,
yellow, right? Mustard.
yes, 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 ma'am.
Did you
Yes,
journal
ma'am.
at all? Did you journal at all through the process? Are you and are
I
you encouraging your daughter
did.
to journal her process? Because it's really important for not only for
Mm-hmm.
her, but for
Mm-hmm.
younger people that she may have to mentor, right?
Now, my oldest daughter, I actually tried to get, well, I got her to start trying to do that in the beginning because she also suffers from anxiety.
Okay.
So whenever she's going through it, I tell her, "Okay, I need you to just write down what's going on, what you're feeling. I just need you to just write it down. I promise you will feel better." And then go back and read it. Go back and read it. And then she'll sit there and go, "Really? I really acted out like this because of that. Are you serious?" And I'm like, "See, just read it." So I did in the beginning because I wanted to jot down how I felt. And so I jot down how I felt when I first went bald, um, my feelings on it, my depression, the times I cried. I cried for almost a week and a half. And I went through the entire thing of all, I was so emotional because of the baldness. And so I went back and I did. I journaled on that. I journaled, I sat down. But I'm gonna say the very first day too, no, the second day I was bald, I went outside, I took my shoes off and my socks off, became one with the earth, and I closed my eyes and just stood in the sun. Just stood in the sun. And then when I stood in the sun, my that little voice in my head kept saying, "So welcome. What took you so long?"
Right.
Yes. Yes,
Right.
ma'am. So, but yes, ma'am, it's
Absolutely.
a process. It's a process, and I'm trying to teach my daughter because she's going through it now. It's starting right here on the side of her head. I'm trying to say, okay, it is a process, but if I can help her as much as I can to get through it, then most definitely that. And one of the things is she realized writing is better for her.
Tell me how much money you think you spent trying not to be bald and beautiful.
Oh, oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's put it this way. I done bought about 6 houses, 20 cars. We ain't gonna talk about how much food. I probably could have traveled the whole entire earth.
I mean, doesn't it is a don't you think about that and say,
Yes.
but it's
Yes.
the process. It's a journey that you had to
Yes.
go through. But
Yes.
when you put down when you're writing in your journal, make sure that that number is really clear so you can tell that number to the next person, right?
Yes.
This
Yes.
is the house you could have built. This is the car you could have had.
Oh,
This
wow.
is the
Yes.
401k you could have had if you
Yes.
had accepted the fact that you are not your hair, right?
Oh,
That's,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's amazing how
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
So I want you to go over. I know you have to go to work. Go over really quickly about your
Yes, ma'am.
big event on September the 30th. And we ask each of our guests to give us a pearl of wisdom. So we'll ask you for that also. But recap your event on September 30th. And I do appreciate you being here with us this evening.
Oh, no problem. It actually is going to be September 28th to October 1st. The 28th is Neo Soul Night with the open mic poetry. The 29th is Bowling for Alopecia. And then the 30th, it is the Alopecia Awareness Walk that Memphis has first ever done, which is also a slash at the end of the walk. It's a picnic to celebrate that it being done for the first in history. And then on October 1, it is actually going to be the Sunday brunch, mimosa brunch that we're doing. And all of those, all proceeds from that entire weekend is a portion of those proceeds will go to National Alopecia Areata Foundation.
You said something about bowling for
Bowling for
Right.
Alopecia.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna take that from you because we're gonna do bowling for literacy. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
So when you see it,
And
don't be mad.
my next thing is gonna be skating for alopecia.
Yes. Great.
Yes.
So thank you, Camille.
Yes,
Please, I
ma'am.
would love a pearl of wisdom from you
Uh,
to share.
Pretty much it's just pro wisdom basically. uh for someone who's gone through it, uh I don't call it a journey, I call it a blessing because it's
Mm.
been a major blessing for me. Never modeled a day in my life. So many doors
I
have
can't
opened.
tell. I can't tell.
Honestly, I've never. Well, that's what I was telling Angie B last year when I first did the fashion show. I never modeled a day in my life. My children have, but I've never
Yeah.
have. So when I say it's just basically embrace when you embrace your baldness. The baldness made me look inside of me, and so now I brace not only my baldness, I brace my soul, my heart, and I most definitely brace Lord on high because I said to them one day, Lord said to me, I'm going to put you on a journey. When I put you on this journey, I need you to show up and show out. And I got you every step of the way.
Every step of the
So,
way.
yes, ma'am.
So
Most
thank you,
definitely.
Camille. We will see you in almost, I don't know, 45, 50 days here
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
beautiful city of Daytona.
Yes, ma'am.
And
And I
thank you.
cannot wait.
I
I'm ready
know
for the
the
beach and
weather's
the
gonna be
water.
wonderful. Get in the water,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
Camille. Have a good night at work. We
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And y'all have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Miss Camille, everybody.
Yeah.
And she just took us through her journey of alopecia. And right now we have Miss Ree on deck. How are you, Miss Ree? Take yourself off mute.
Ms.
Beautiful.
Riri in Texas.
Riri from Texas.
This is Sharice. Let me show you her picture while she coming off mute.
All right.
She was with us in Daytona last year.
Yes, she was.
She's kicking off Alopecia Awareness Month, Labor Day weekend.
Oh, really? In Houston. So, Riri, you don't want to talk to us today? There you go. Yay. Look at that background. Beautiful.
I'm trying to
You are there.
do a picture I made.
How are you this evening?
Hello, Carrie?
You're coming in and
I am
out.
wonderful. I've been all day. My air is out. It's 100 degrees here.
What did she say? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Sharice, you're
Can you hear me?
breaking up a little. You might
Yeah.
have
Do you want to
to
go out
go
and come
out.
back in?
Yeah, go out
Go
and
out
come
and
back
come back
in.
in.
All that background that she has,
Me?
she
Beautiful,
designs
right?
all of that. She designs all of that.
Oh
She
my.
does
Yeah, you need
calendar.
to go out and come back in because we need to talk. See if
Yeah.
you can come back.
She is
Come back in.
Yeah, go out and come back in. I'll let you back.
yeah, Donna, she created those earrings, these
Oh
big
my.
stone pieces of necklaces, and of course she's a cosmetologist, so she got nails for days. And yeah, she's just absolutely fabulous. And I'm looking forward to spending time with her in Texas for Labor Day. Like I said, she kicks it off for us.
So let's talk about you, right? I've known you many, many years. But I also don't know about your journey, right? You've had not only alopecia, but some other things that went on towards the journey. Tell us about why you wrote your first book, and then tell us about your journey through alopecia.
Well, the first book is Last Week I Wanted to Die, and it is a testimony about the 3 suicide attempts that failed. Praise God for that. And some
Yes.
people will, yeah. So some people will say, well, you were depressed because you had type 2 diabetes, or you were depressed because you had uncontrolled high blood pressure, or you've got hair loss because of all these other reasons, or just excuses. And my first book talks about how God literally sent an angel with scripture to say, this love letter is for you, and these are the things that you're going to do, and this too shall pass. And so when I think about that first book leading up to this last one, which talks about my journey with alopecia, it really does confirm some things, that there are ebbs and flows in life. So if you're up, just be ready. The waves are going to take you, but you have to be taken. So my hair
Well,
loss
you
was,
know, they say, right? There's a thing on I think it's YouTube or maybe Instagram where the guy says, I talked to my therapist. Do you remember this story?
yeah.
And she says, I'm tired of my life being up and down. I'm tired of going through all these trials and
Right,
tribulations. And she
right,
says, well, when that stops, it's called a flatline.
right. So you better accept them ups and downs.
It's
You need
called a
to.
flatline, my friend. You better
Mhm.
accept the ups and downs and the trials and the tribulations, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it is something that we all have to get to. But let me just ask you, when was your day of awakening? Tell me what that was like.
It was it was kind of like when I realized what was happening. Um, every payday, my husband would come home and say, "Let's go shopping for a new wig," or "Let's go." And when I started realizing I definitely needed a new wig because the old one was looking ratty at the, and the money that was getting invested, I was like, we could be spending this money on something else. We could be doing something else. And he knew from our first date that I was bald. I really tried to get rid
Oh,
of them. I
okay.
was telling him, okay,
Hmm.
these falls out and the wig and everything. So he was just waiting, and kind of like Camille's story. Okay, let's go out, for dinner or whatnot.
Hmm.
But I think my realization was when you came to me and you said, do you realize how many people in this county alone are dealing with hair loss? You need to do something. A bald
I sure
ambassador.
did. I sure did.
And you said, don't worry, I'll show you how to do it. And you worked with me once a month for 9 months, and we birthed it. And I said, if Donna Gray Banks thinks it's important enough to do this, I need to do this just to honor her, just to And then when the support group session and the tears, you remember that year?
Oh yeah.
The two of her friends, and she was just bawling. She was just,
Wow.
we had to stop the fashion show just to kind of comfort her and,
Yeah.
and
She's
cover
coming
her. And
from Jacksonville. Yeah.
oh my word, it just that was it, because I had hidden.
Because it was the Holy Spirit of baldness. When she was walked in there, she said, I've never seen this many beautiful Black women in one room celebrating alopecia.
Yeah. And that was the aha moment for me, because I hid all, I started my hair loss in my mid-20s. So by the time my children were going to school, I was hiding. I have a huge hat collection. I had a huge wig collection. I didn't want to embarrass them. I didn't, I didn't want to. But all along, I kept saying to them, Granny's hair was really short, and your other grandmother draws her eyebrows in, and just like our color is the way it is, there may be something going on where our hair will be this way. So we do have a relative that is rocking the Stevie Wonder look, and she hold on. My edge is coming back. Yes, baby, because everybody has to go through the process on their own. I've got someone in my life that works with Republicans, so she's gonna get a good wig, because she don't want to deal with that. She don't, the only melanated person in the office.
All the questions, yeah.
The only one. So I believe that when Alopecia Awareness Month became apparent to me, that was an eye-opener for me too, because I didn't want to be the only bald woman in the room. And that first time where it was a bunch of us was like, okay.
I know.
We can do this. We can do this.
And so we're all authors, right? So how important was it to write your journey? What kind of cathartic, holistic healing took place?
Well, the first story was the anthology that we did during COVID.
Right.
We did the Confinement Chronicles. We all wrote a little bit of something, but the alopecia chapter was powerful for me, because women were writing stories about how they, they couldn't get in the beauty salon. They couldn't get into the hair store. And that was more traumatic than possibly catching the virus or
Yes, I understand. Right. It's crazy.
And so that first book really showed alopecia from so many different ways. Women that would never let the man in their life see them without hair or even without makeup. The women who grew up in full-blown alopecia. They were children with no hair. And I remember thinking, how in the world? I think that's the biggest part about that anthology. You've got so many stories from so many people, so many different people.
And children.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely children. In fact, the one child that
oh yeah,
my lip color, uniquely you. I hope it's not bad.
Is that her brand?
This is her brand. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unique Walik in Michigan, and she gifted this to me. And when we did our book tour in Michigan in December, she came out with she attended with her, I'm pretty sure it's going to be her fiance probably about now, but he talked about how he went to the club with another woman and she walked past him and he forgot that he was walking this woman to her car. He was like, okay, see you later. and he talked about how stunning and how regal and how bold and how, yeah. And she's just, okay, it's me. But yeah, I believe that once you decide to come out of all that hair, you can't be nothing but bold.
I always imagined that you were a woman who wore bold and beautiful colors, but did you enhance that more once you became uh safe with your baldness?
I didn't enhance my wardrobe or my jewelry because I'm accustomed to being on stage,
Right.
motivational speaker and preaching. And so got to have something, a big ring so that they could see it from all the way across the room. But I did do something with my makeup. And
Okay.
Cherise, who's on the phone, I'm hoping that we'll be able to hear her. Cherise is the one who really helped me with my makeup because I wasn't going to do the false eyelashes. I didn't need to do, but Cherise did a makeover on me. And it was the first time I just cried my makeup off. I was like, look at my nose, look at my eyes, look at my, because a wig and hair, it can cover all of your facial features. So when they're all out and they're all enhanced, it did. Thank you, Cherise. Can you hear me, honey?
Can.
Okay. So thank you for bringing out my face.
I didn't know this was the first time.
Girl.
You should tell her to jump on the Zoom.
Can you get back on the Zoom or you got a bad connection?
I think she has a bad connection.
Yeah. Since she removed me, I can no longer join.
Oh no, you were in twice.
Okay. So she's
Yeah,
gonna
sorry, Cherie.
She's gonna try to let you back in, Cherise.
She had to send a new link or something?
No, I think it's the same link.
It's the same link. Just try to come back in. It told you can't come back in?
I'll try now.
Okay.
So you
so I didn't do anything with the wardrobe or the jewelry. It was just my face. And then you kind of run into the problem of, okay, the hair has got to be perfect, the clothes have got to be perfect, the makeup has got to be perfect, everything. Then I didn't want to leave the house unless my whole face was on. And so I had to really dig deep to say, you know what, I am who I am. I can go the way I got on my deodorant. It doesn't have to be. And since August is Hair Loss Awareness Month, every time I went on the air this month, I went on the air with no makeup, with no big earrings. Everything. No, I was just natural because the whole wig thing is still, we're trying to remain accepted. And now the eyelashes and all of that, we're still trying to remain accepted. We still have to have enough self-esteem to say, I don't have any hair, but
I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that.
Right. I still have all of me.
Right.
And my face needed a break too, because in September it's gonna be beat up. I'm gonna have some of everything all month long. So going to Texas, Sharice gonna hook me up, and then we come back to Daytona, and then we're going to Met. Yeah. But I think it's all about acceptance. You've got to be able to accept.
About the night you stood up in front of the commission of Daytona.
Oh,
the city of Daytona Beach.
With the mayor sitting up there.
With the mayor sitting there in the Coliseum. I like to call it the Coliseum because it's kind of looking down on you.
Oh my goodness. It was life-changing for me.
So proud of you. So proud of you for that moment.
It was life-changing because to go before, I was already still a new resident of the city. You just don't bust up in front of the mayor and everybody when you only been there but a hot minute, But I have learned that, okay, Lord, you're going to have to tell me what to say because I got a script, but I can't read it. And I know the goal, but I don't know how to get there. So I took a deep breath and I started speaking. And your buddy looked at me and was like, we can't hear you. I'm like, loud as I am. And they can, okay. And I said, okay, Lord. And halfway through, thank God for hot flashes. I got one and the hat had to come off. And it was just a look of awe across their face. Like Big Mama and them said, the white and the colored was looking like, oh, Mama Tony, you don't know nothing about that. But when when the white and the colored is looking at you, you done made
white
a
and the color.
and then I had to remember to roll my shoulders
That's
back
right.
and sit up. And I said, okay, this is what I want y'all to do. And the mayor, he's so diplomatic. He's like, well, we can't do that. That's in the rules. But then they went along and they said, well, I could do this and I could do this. And I was like,
right. Yeah. It was amazing. It was an amazing night.
So that's why the name of the event is the bold. We got to be bold first. Because of the boldness, then we can find that we're beautiful. The boldness comes last. Even though everybody may see that first, they're going to feel that boldness. And we're going to feel the beauty that's within us. We don't care if our teeth are crooked. We still.
When we were on the beach last year, there were 3 or 4 dozen non-melanated people in awe, in awe of the 20 women in white on the beach. I've never seen non-melanated people take more pictures in my life.
Yeah.
And I've never seen more non-melanated men be shook up.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, shook up.
Cherise was speaking and sharing her testimony at our little support group poolside. And I promise you, there was a man he was like, oh, Cherise, you remember that? That man said something.
He kept staring so hard.
Staring so hard. And then at one point, I literally got chased out of the swimming pool because an older gentleman, non-melanated, he kept swimming. He was like circling me like a shark.
Right.
He came around, he got closer and closer, and I smiled and keep swimming and floating. And finally, he was like, well, back in my day, they just put on a wig. And I said, I'm glad I'm not back in your day.
Yeah.
So,
and becoming bold and beautiful and acceptance of the baldness. How is it that when did you tell your daughters that this may be an hereditary thing? When did you have that discussion?
When, let me see, they're early 30s now. And so when they were in middle school, it got to the point where they wanted to bring their friends over to play, or do something. And I'd always be like, okay, well, let me find my wig, because I still didn't want to embarrass them.
Right.
And eventually, I think one of their friends said something like, Miss Angie, your wig is crooked or something, because you know how. And once my kids started saying, well, we don't know why she got it on anyway. Oh, fine. And it took me back to a time in my childhood where my mother was taking me someplace, a very public place. I remember a lot of people being around, and another little kid came over to me and said, which one is your mom? I said, the lady with the blonde wig on. And I was a kid, I didn't know. But I never forget how it just looked like my mother just, because we kids, so I didn't want to withhold anything from my children. I mean, my kids will tell you, I told them, I said, you better hold on to that virginity as long as you can, because the first time it's gonna hurt and it ain't gonna be worth it, and he gonna be gone. So let's just keep them together as long, hold on, and so yeah, I told them, I said, just like Camille said, that she teases her children about her hair loss came from them. My grandmother always said that she had long hair until my mother was born, and my mother took all of her hair. And my mother's hair was very, very short and would not grow any length. And then you could start seeing, but I lost my mother at the age of 54. She had a heart attack. So she, you know, it was okay with hats and wigs, and it wasn't, you know, but yes, I told my children, and their response has always been loving, but like, you know, the Kardashians did when Jenner turned into somebody else. You can't be half stepping out there. You got to have it straight. You can't have a peach fuzz over here and smooth up, you know. You're gonna do this, you got to do it right. And I'm grateful for that. I am grateful for that. Yeah.
In the transition from, let me ask you how much money you think you spent.
Well, I remember going to the drag queen costume shop in Orlando, Florida, before I moved to Daytona.
Okay.
And there was this big, because if I was going to buy some hair, it was going to be some hair. It was going to have some length, some curl. It was going to be, you know, your hair, Donna. It was going to have all
I get it. I get it. I'm grateful to have it. Yeah.
Especially for the stage. You know, I'm introducing Christian rap artists. I can't be standing there, you know. So I went into the drag queen shop and let the person on duty dress me in a wig. Because my mom always said, if you want to know how to look like a fabulous woman, get a drag queen to dress you.
Absolutely. Okay? I learned how to do makeup over COVID.
There you go. There you go. So I and it was a beauty. I mean, it was stunning, but it was $80. And I remember thinking, do I deserve to spend $80 on a piece of hair?
Do I deserve?
Do I deserve to? And when he saw the tears well up, he's like, baby, come on, let me do something for you, you know, and slip me a half off coupon. But after that, it was a matter of, well, I'm not going to do human hair. I'm just going to do synthetic. Well, synthetic went from $15 to $20 to $35. And then that went over to my marriage. And like I said, every payday, come on, let's get you a new wig. And I'm thinking, you're right. What else could we be doing with this? And it's sad to think that at that time, I didn't think I deserved to spend that kind of money on myself.
Right.
It took my husband to show me that I do deserve it. But how about we switch it in a different direction? How about we switch it towards retirement or towards travel, so I can go to Houston and be with Sharice, and I can go to Memphis, and yeah.
Tell me about the day you went out alone. It's one thing to be with a partner. It's one thing to be with friends. The day you decided to walk in the sunshine by yourself as a bold, bald, and beautiful woman.
You know, I still do not think I have had that moment.
Really?
Not real. I mean, because even if I walk in Walgreens, I got on a ball cap or something, and not because I'm hiding my head. I still have issues with the temperature. You know, it's 100 degrees outside, and I go into the AC.
And your head gets cold.
Yeah. And you know, and they taught us that we got to have sunscreen on and skin cancer and all this. But I do think there was a time when I went to see some friends and walked in their house, and just the way they looked at me, I was like, oh, I didn't tell you. Okay. Or Marcus Latimer, the gentleman who comes in from Detroit to act as security.
Right.
The first time he saw me, and the first time other childhood friends have seen me. Every time I go to Detroit to visit my family, it's like somebody else from high school or something I run into. And I think that's when I realized how comfortable I am in it, because I don't explain. I just walk in. I don't explain what kind of bra I got on. I don't explain if I got on a girdle. And that level of comfort only could have come from God.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Only could have.
So the Bold, Bald, and Beautiful Bazaar. Let's talk about it. It is September the 16th in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach. Tell us what to expect.
Well, we know that Camille's traveling buddy is bringing our entertainment.
Brownstone.
Brownstone, yeah.
Mr.
And we know that
DJ extraordinaire. Yeah.
And I'm gonna take some videos because Brownstone is DJing in Houston, Texas with F.R.E.S.H during Labor Day. Yeah, she hollering. So that's gonna be exciting. This is the first year that the Beauty Bazaar has scaled back. It's going to be a lot more intimate.
Right.
Last year, I realized we had so many, there are people that say they don't want to go to a mega church because they feel like they can't.
More workshops, more, conversations, more, let me sit here. If you come with a wig, let us progressively get you out of it. We can while you're here, right?
And that's if you want it,
if you want to. Yeah.
If you want to learn how to put on your eyelashes, if you want to learn that your eyebrows can be on, but they don't have to be. Last year it was so huge. I felt like I could not just love on everybody. There were a couple of vendors I didn't even get to.
You didn't even see, right?
I didn't even get on the 360. So I mean, so this year we're scaling back on vendors, and I believe our model count, we may have 12, 15 models. F.R.E.S.H is coming back from Houston. She's gonna help dress some of us, and I'm thrilled. So we're gonna start Thursday night by the pool at our brand new hotel. We're going to start there around the fire pit and just have our support group. Just, we're 2 or more gathered. Okay. So whoever's staying at the hotel.
And the hotel is?
What is it? One
Daytona 1.
Daytona 1, right across from the Speedway.
Yes.
So even the local vendors can come by the hotel and meet and greet with us. But that's our first night to just say, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I don't have to put that wig on if I don't want to. I'm just glad about it, And Friday morning we get up and we have breakfast together at the hotel, and then we're going to go back to the pool and have just a couple of mini workshops, information about our health, because people still think, well, your hair falls out, how bad could it be? But there are other challenges and physical things that happen when your body is attacking your hair, especially when you're going through menopause. Well, I got hair down here, it ain't got nothing, So we're gonna do that briefly. I like to let people have time in the pool and do things, but then at 7 p.m., that's our all white. And last year, F.R.E.S.H walked in with her all white, and I was like, "Oh Lord,
that was beautiful.
Bring me something white. Bring me." So we're gonna have dinner together in all white. Then we're gonna walk down the street to Jeremiah's Italian Ice and have dessert together. Now, the reason we do that is it's one thing to come and be among other baldies, but it's another thing for us to make a spectacle of ourselves. If you can imagine 10 to 15 people all dressed in white, and then they happen to be bald, and we're out in public together, I think that's something that we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see if they're going to have music in the round, because there's a music pit outside. I'm going to check and see if there's going to be music that night, because it would be really nice if we all could go just sit around and listen to some music that night.
Yeah, Friday night.
So go ahead.
Then Saturday, we're going to carpool over to the Museum of Arts and Science. We'll be at the Root Family Train Station again. This will be our 6th year. And this is the Smithsonian Day as well. Each Smithsonian museum needs to have a free admission day once a year. So the museum's having free admission. All those people will be able to come and hang out with us. F.R.E.S.H is going to be back there having us wearing something fabulous. And we're going to have the fashion show. They've got 3 outfit changes. They've got a little presentation that they do. They each come out and say, hi, my name is Jane Doe, and I have alopecia, yada, 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 because there's over 100 forms of alopecia. So we'll do some education, and the vendors are, I think, going to be more excited than anybody. Half of our vendors are brand new. Some of them told me they don't even know anything about alopecia. So it's an educational piece.
Well, tell the one to bring more food because they ran out last year because we ate good. I don't think they were ready.
The young woman that's doing the fried fish sandwiches, she was like, well, you think I need to feed about 20 people? I said, and then you'll be gone in 5 minutes. You better be ready.
You're not.
The Bloodmobile is going to be there again, and they're so excited. And
plus the people who are coming in free will be joining, will eat from the food truck area. So
yeah. I think the biggest thing that we the biggest question we deal with is people will say to me, well, I'm not bald, so can I come? And I'm like, well, yeah, we ain't discriminating just because you got curls like Mama Tony. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Because you get to shop for jewelry, you get to shop for clothing from Miss F.R.E.S.H. Miss F.R.E.S.H is making jewelry now with these big, beautiful people. You do that kind of shopping. You go get you something to eat. You go stroll through the museum because admission is free that day. So bring everybody. We've got Mary Kay. We're going to have paparazzi. We're going to have,
vitamins and this and that.
Right. And then we've got authors that are coming just to meet the founder of the largest book festival in the state of Florida. That's Donna.
I'm most grateful. Trust me, I am very most grateful. So
after my friend, we head back to the hotel. They got some sort of bar or something on the top.
They do. It's really beautiful. Yeah, it has all kind of NASCAR memorabilia, and you can go out on the balcony. It is the most warm and receptive place we've been. So I'm glad that you all were able to come to Daytona 1. And as we enter the 9 o'clock hour, and I appreciate you because you are way past your bedtime.
I took a good nap. But listen, before
so proud of the 7 years, huh?
Before we close out, I know F.R.E.S.H is here on the phone, and her event is in Houston, Texas.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that, F.R.E.S.H, if you can.
F.R.E.S.H,
I'm trying to get on through my phone.
It's all right, baby, because we're at the 9th hour. No, we're good. Just tell us about your event, the 1st of the month.
Yeah.
I actually have a 2-day event. So the September the 2nd is a model workshop, and that's for anybody that wants to inquire or thinking about being a model, or you just want to support your other fellow models. You are welcome to come, and it's $40 for the entry. We will provide breakfast and lunch. We have some amazing speakers, and we have one amazing host. Her name is Angie. You guys might know her.
I'll be there to help out.
I'm super excited about that. And then on September the 3rd, we actually have our fashion show, and where we just let those girls do their thing and just be explosive. And it's really nice because we have people that come in from all over. This year, I am selling tickets for virtual. So if anyone that is from another state that would like to join in, all they need to do is we have flyers that are posted everywhere. If they call me on that flyer, they purchase their virtual ticket, and then the day of the show, we send out the link, and they're able to watch it live, and it's going to be super exciting.
Oh, good.
So we're in Houston the first weekend. We're in Daytona the third weekend. And the last weekend we are in Mississippi.
Yeah. Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Celebrating alopecia the entire month. Thank you, Miss Ree. I appreciate it. Hey, Angie, before you go,
Yes, dear.
there's alopecia areata. There's alopecia nervosa. Are those the two most prevalent forms of alopecia?
I really don't think so. I think the most, and Sharice, you can correct me. I think the alopecia universalis is the most prevalent. That's when you start losing eyebrows, you got no pubic hair, your arms, your everything, and all of those other forms can lead to that. So you got some real smooth people. But like Jamie Elmore out on the West Coast, she takes a group of baldies to Annapolis every year for Juneteenth. She talks about how she doesn't have hair in her nasal passages, so she's always having to sniff and when your eyelashes start to turn inward and you get the worst sty. You can't even call it a sty. It won't resolve on its own. It needs to be. I think that universalis is just the most prevalent and the most painful.
That's actually the worst, but
yeah,
more people actually have more of the alopecia areata because it starts in a small area first, and then it gets worse to go to sometimes universalis, which a lot of times can deal with deficiency of vitamin D. It can be distress. It can be due to mental abuse or hormonal imbalancement. Is a lot of what caused it to go bad to end up at, like she said, universalis. And she's right. You have to be careful when you don't have hair nose. You have to be careful of things that you smell because you have your hair on the inside to protect you. So you can get words easily just from smelling somebody spray something and it goes through your nose. That alcohol can internally burn the inside of your, because you have nothing to protect it. Or the sunlight, you'll see people with glasses all the time because the sunlight hurts their eyes because they don't have anything to protect their eyes.
Yeah, it's getting that way. Yeah.
Any kind of powerful light will do it. Right.
But then when you don't have those eyelashes to protect, you're just out there naked. So thank you for that correction. Sharice, actually, when I was with her in Houston a few years ago at her event, that's when I met the trichologist. Am I saying that right, Sharice? The medical professional that specializes. She's the one who taught us that there are over 100 forms of alopecia. And so we kind of sum it up to say, anytime your hair leaves you and it doesn't come back the way it was when it left, that could be a form of alopecia. And we talk about that during Hair Loss Awareness Month, August, which I think is just our eve of alopecia awareness. But there's so much shame associated with it. There's so much, I think shame and embarrassment are two different things. I know people that are, I know cosmetologists that said, how can I have traction alopecia? I should have known better. The shame, the embarrassment of, when do I tell them I don't have any hair? On the first date or before we get ready to get into bed? I mean, it's just, it can lead to, we know children that have committed suicide.
Yeah.
And prior to the last 3 or 4 years, people didn't talk about it like that. It wasn't until we had, I every time I get ready to talk about that movie, I can't ever think of it. But Wakanda Forever.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
In that movie with all those beautiful Black women who looked absolutely amazing and looked like just,
and we're warriors.
It wasn't that, you know, it wasn't looked upon as something that was glamorous or that it was even, you know, nice.
We're not even going to talk about the church.
Yeah, yeah,
The church is like, you got to stay covered. And oh, Mama Tony, she, you're not,
crazy.
you can't get in the pulpit looking like that. You got to cover. Okay,
Mm.
okay. You gonna
Well,
mess
I'm
up.
glad we've come a lot further than that
Thank God.
in our lifetime.
Thank God. Thank
And
God.
we will continue to make space for people who don't look like us,
Mm-hmm.
you know, who don't
And we,
walk like us, don't talk like us, because
right.
there's a lot more of us, them,
Mm-hmm.
than there are of us, right? There's a lot more people who have a deficiency in something
Mm-hmm.
than the ones who quote unquote don't. I think we all have a deficiency in something, but acceptance is more the key. And so I thank you for taking on the task of being bold, bald, and beautiful. Most people don't know that I had alopecia nervosa myself. Um, it is a trauma that you go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, fortunate or unfortunate. You don't know because you don't know what life has for you, but all my hair did come back. No, that's not true because once you have a certain portion of alopecia, all of your hair never comes back. There are certain parts of your body that will never receive hair follicles again.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I thank you for embracing us who were almost there knocking on the door, and us who were almost there through the door, and us who were through the door and need some support to just get through it. And it's the Bold, Bald, and Beautiful Bazaar. It is September the 16th. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the whole weekend, right? So it's
Yeah, it's the 14th through the
14th
17th.
through the 7th.
Yeah, so Mama Tony, if you coming into Daytona, just come on and hang out. The 17th is when that Sunday we have been invited to St. Augustine, Florida, so we can worship together with Pastor Mary Hope. She allowed me to be in her pulpit to share my testimony and not be covered. And so she even called me last night and said, "Don't worry, we're gonna feed y'all after service before you leave." So we're going
And that's on down home. We're gonna get them down.
yes. In fact, she's sending the fish sandwich food vendor to us on the 16th. So we gonna eat. But yeah, so it's the whole weekend. But if you're local and you just want to join us at the museum, that's the 16th from 10 a.m. to 4. Shout out to the Bearded Villains of Jacksonville. They're coming in to help volunteer again.
Absolutely.
We are proceeds are still going to National Alopecia Areata Foundation, and the Bearded Villains will be selling raffle tickets. So if a bearded man comes up to you and offers to sell you a raffle ticket, get as many as he got in his hand. So we're grateful.
Tell us how to reach you. The Bold, Bald, and Beautiful. If somebody wants to reach out, if someone needs to breathe on a Zoom. If someone, because sometimes you don't need to talk. Sometimes you just need to breathe, right?
Yeah.
How can they reach you?
Search for the Facebook page, Bold, Beautiful, and Bald Beauty Bazaar. I know that's a mouthful, but it is there on Facebook. You can also send a text to 407-914-6519.
Give it to me again.
407-914-6519. And then we have the email bold, beautiful, and bald @gmail. You can contact us about vendor information. You can contact us about coming by for the day. We've got 1-day admission tickets for $10. If you want to make a donation, Pepsi is a generous sponsor, so we won't go thirsty. However, a cash donation would be appreciated. We've got some volunteers coming that we don't want them to have to drive back and forth. It'd be nice if they could at least stay at the hotel at least 1 day. So we would like some donations. And if you just want to come out and meet the fabulous Miss Sharice, this is her from last year. Oh yeah, fabulous. You got that hat was matching the dress. You just got to come out and see what she's bringing. I can't wait to get into her boutique when I get to Houston.
I know. I know. I know. So I will take a pearl of wisdom from you right now, because that's what we do here on Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation After Dark.
If you don't know Jesus, let somebody introduce him to you. If you don't have something larger than yourself, there's a lot of things you will go through that you will not understand, and alopecia is one of them. So you know, don't go through it by yourself. Get to know Jesus
And give what you give, because it'll come
Yes.
back to you
Yes, yes,
twofold, right?
yes.
So thank you so much. Alopecia awareness is the whole month of September, and we will be celebrating from Houston to Mississippi. And if you need a hand to hold, if you need to breathe, reach out to the Bold, Bald, and Beautiful. They are there to help you. And of course, when the lights go out and the cell phone towers go down, all you have left is a flashlight and a good
book.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Angie. We'll talk to you
Donna.
soon. All right,
See
good
you
night.
soon. Oh, good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.